Hi, I'm Jasmin Iordanidis, Product Marketing Manager here at Easy Agile, and today we're going to walk through the key features of Easy Agile Programs. If you're struggling to effectively manage programs or Agile release trains, or are part of the team whose work is scheduled, Easy Agile Programs streamlines visibility and visualises dependencies in the PI for all involved. Remote, distributed, or face-to-face teams are easily aligned when you have a single, transparent, and digital view of your program right inside Jira. Easy Agile is also a proud Scaled Agile partner. If your organization is using SAFe to implement Agile at scale, Easy Agile Programs is a powerful digital tool to support PI planning. Let's take a closer look.
Easy Agile Programs has 3 key layers to orientate yourself with, each representing a different level of focus and detail. The program roadmap is the top layer and ensures all teams are aligned on committed features for a program increment or PI. It is a timeline overview of all scheduled increments for a program. It's from this view that you can create milestones or view dependencies at a feature level. The increment overview is the middle layer of our program. It's a single view of all the teams within a program and the work they've scheduled in their sprints, including the work that has dependencies between teams. The Shared Team Features swim lane is an indication of all the features shared by the team for the program increment in question. To see what your team has committed to, or to create and schedule work into your program increment sprints from your team backlog, visit your team planning board. Here, you can also create and view dependencies of work with other teams through simple drag and drop, or dependencies between stories within your own team. Once installed, you can access Easy Agile Programs from your Jira board by clicking on the Programs icon in the project sidebar. For release train engineers, or users who have managed programs permissions, you can also access Easy Agile Programs from the drop-down menu in the Jira Global Navigation menu. Click on View All Programs to view the programs list. From here, you can view all programs and their current increments, as well as create a new program. In this example, we're going to walk through the Space Travel program. To navigate to the program roadmap for your program, click on the program name. What we're seeing here is a timeline view of all the program increments that exist within a program. The blue boxes represent the program increment or PI. The program roadmap represents a holistic view of our program. Within our PI, we can easily see the epics or features scheduled for the PI in question, representing what the collection of teams are hoping to achieve within this time box. From the program roadmap, release train engineers can do 3 key things to support PI planning: create milestones, create new program increments, and visualize dependencies. The program roadmap shows us all the features or epics scheduled within each PI. To schedule features or epics onto the roadmap, click the Edit Roadmap button in the top right-hand corner of the blue Program Increment box. This takes us to the Increment Roadmap. On the left-hand side, we have the Increment Roadmap with a Shared Team Features swim lane and individual team swim lanes beneath. The Shared Team Features swim lane represents work shared by more than one team for this PI. At the moment, our team swim lanes are empty. To schedule features or epics into the team swim lane, we simply drag and drop an existing feature or epic from the backlog into the relevant swim lane or sprint. Features or epics can span multiple sprints, and we can represent this by clicking the edge of the issue and dragging it over our desired number of sprints. You can also create a new feature or epic from the increment roadmap, although this is less common. From the program roadmap, we can create milestones. This helps us to clearly represent important milestones to stakeholders or the team, including demo, release and launch dates, external events, or third-party deliverables, alongside features planned in a PI. To create a new milestone on the program roadmap, click the plus milestone button in the top right-hand corner. Name your milestone, set a start and end date if you wish, select a milestone color, and hit save. Your milestones are now visible on your timeline. The program roadmap is where Release Train Engineered can also create new program increments. To create a new program increment, click on the blue New Increment button. When creating a new increment, we must name our increment. We also have the option here to add high-level objectives we want to achieve in this fixed period of time, so this can be communicated to the teams in our increment. Set a start date for the increment. Easy Agile programs will auto-set the start date as after the last day of your previous PI, although this can be changed using the date picker. Set your sprint length and the number of sprints that make up your PI. The sprint source section is where you can configure if you would like all of your teams to share the same sprints or manage their own. Shared or global sprints in Jira provides the benefit of central sprint management and easier cross-team reporting. If you select shared sprints, you need to select a shared sprint board from the drop-down menu first, and then you can select existing sprints from the corresponding drop-down menu. If no sprints exist, Easy Agile Programs will create them for you. By selecting Team Managed Sprints, this gives teams the autonomy to manage their own sprints in their Agile board. Once selected, each team will have to map the sprints in their Agile board in Jira to the program increment. Once you are happy with these details, you simply click Create Increment. Your new increment is waiting for you on the timeline. Now that we've navigated our way through the program roadmap, it's time to dig into the next layer of Easy Agile Programs, the increment overview. This layer is the connective tissue between the program and team layers. The increment overview provides a holistic view of the teams within a program, indicated by individual swim lanes highlighting the work each team has scheduled into sprints. Importantly, this view also shows the cross-team dependencies and the health of those dependencies. The feature or epics you see in the increment overview are the same as those you see within the blue increment box on the program roadmap view. Let's take a closer look at the key elements. From the increment overview, we can schedule features or epics onto our roadmap by clicking the Edit Roadmap button in the top right-hand navigation. This takes us to the increment roadmap view, where we can edit our features or epics. On the left-hand side, we can see the increment roadmap, with the shared team features swim lane and individual team swim lanes beneath. The shared team features swim lane represents work shared by more than one team for this PI. At the moment, our team swim lanes are empty. To schedule features or epics into the team swim lane, we simply drag and drop the existing feature or epic from the backlog into the relevant swim lane or sprint. These will be reflected on both the program roadmap and the relevant team planning board. Features or epics can also span multiple sprints, and we can represent this by clicking the edge of the issue and dragging it over our desired number of sprints. The shared team features swim lane runs along the top of our PI, visualizing when the work for the features or epics indicated is expected to start and when it is due for completion. Above the shared team features swim lane, we can see the number of sprints that make up our PI, aligning our teams on a synchronized cadence. Release train engineers can click a feature from the Shared Team Features swim lane to see which teams are working on that particular feature or epic as part of this PI, and whether any work has been scheduled outside the scope of the feature or epic schedule. The Shared Team Features swim lane is also collapsible. Down the left-hand side of our increment overview are the teams in our program. In Easy Agile Programs, a team is equal to an Agile board in Jira. So this means these are the names of the Agile boards we've chosen to include in our program. Beneath each team, we're able to see the work they've got planned under each of the PI sprints for this increment, including the issues related to the epics in the Shared Team Features swim lane. You'll also notice the coloured dependency lines running between stories on different team boards or within a single team's board. The colour of these lines represents the health of the dependency between two issues. A green dependency line indicates the dependent issue is scheduled in a sprint before its dependency and is therefore healthy. An orange dependency line indicates that the dependent and dependency are scheduled in the same sprint and are at risk. A red dependency line indicates the dependent issue is scheduled in a sprint after the dependency and is therefore a blocker or unhealthy. A release train engineer or product manager can filter the increment overview by dependencies to quickly and easily identify any blockers or at-risk dependencies. While we can see the dependencies on the increment overview, it's on the team planning board where we create those dependencies, and this is what we'll look at next. We're now looking at the team planning board for the Space Travel program. This is the third layer that makes up Easy Agile Programs. This is where each team in a program would come for their team breakouts. Each team has their own team planning board where they have access to their own backlog, can create and schedule existing issues into their PI sprints, and most importantly, where teams can come to create dependencies. Let's walk through the key elements we're seeing on the team planning board. Along the top, we have the PI broken up into the sprint names that have been mapped to this PI. If the PI is configured to use global or shared sprints, these sprint names will be the same for each of the team boards on the program. We can also see the date range of each sprint. If your team uses a Kanban board, your team planning board will automatically be divided into columns which represent the sprints or iterations in your program. Beneath the sprint names and dates, we are able to set the capacity of each of our team sprints. Estimating the work scheduled in our sprints will roll up to this section so we can keep track of whether we're in scope or overcommitting. What we can see here is the Jupyter Teams Agile board. The features or epics across the top includes all of those in the Shared Team swim lane for the program, as well as the features exclusive to the Jupyter team. We can see all the team's work has already been scheduled beneath each sprint on our team planning board. Teams can access issues to schedule onto their Agile boards by clicking on the backlog button in the top right-hand corner. To filter the work scheduled in the PI, we can click on the features or epics along the top. You'll notice this also filters the issues related to the selected epic on the backlog. Additionally, we can use quick filters to filter the backlog. This helps teams to prioritize work during the team breakouts. Scheduling an issue from the backlog is easily done through a simple drag and drop into the relevant sprint column. We can also create new issues directly on the team planning board. First, click on the feature the story relates to, then click on an empty space under the sprint column. This will create a new issue on the team's board, schedule it into an assigned sprint, and link the issue to the selected feature on the roadmap. The issue will also include the program's custom fields. From the team planning board, we can identify and create dependencies with work scheduled in other team boards, as well as within our own team. When creating an intra-team dependency, that is, a dependency between two issues within our own team, we must first select the Create Dependencies button in the top navigation bar. This puts the team planning board into dependency creating mode. From here, you create a dependency between two issues by clicking on them. The color of the line will indicate the health of your newly created dependency. Don't forget to click the Create Dependencies button again to turn off this mode. Creating dependencies between teams can be done via the Create Dependencies button or via drag and drop. To do this, first we need to click on the Teams drop-down menu to see the list of all the team boards that are in our program. The coloured pills next to a team's name in this menu indicate that our team has dependencies with issues in another team's PI sprints. The number and colour of the pill also indicate the nature of those dependencies. In this example, we have the Jupiter team. Selecting a team from the drop-down will place that team and the work scheduled in their PI sprints beneath your team on the planning board. This will allow you to visualize dependencies between stories on respective team boards. Shuffling the sequence of work will update the health or status of the dependency and flag to both teams when the unhealthy dependency has been addressed. To create new dependencies, simply drag and drop one issue on top of another. If you wish to remove a dependency, hover over the dependency line and simply hit the cross. All changes made on the team planning board will be reflected on the team's Agile board in Jira. The increment overview will also update, so release train engineers and stakeholders will always have an up-to-date view of the progress of an increment. You can navigate back to the increment overview from the team planning board via the button in the navigation bar. Additionally, you can do so from the breadcrumbs across the top. This is where you can also navigate to the program roadmap or the program.
Easy Agile Programs is a scalable and collaborative tool, not only for remote PI planning, but also for more efficient PI planning sessions in person. It supports your team to plan, execute, and track PI progress and ensure alignment on committed features to achieve agility at scale. If you have any questions about the tool, please feel free to reach out to myself and the Easy Agile team at support@easyagile.com. We look forward to hearing from you and learning about your experience with Easy Agile Programs. Thanks for watching this demo.